Hey guys, RanterInShades here, exercising my first amendment rights vlog style, and today we're going to resurrect a series I figured I wasn't going to be making any more videos for, and that would be the Shades shirt collection series. The reason I thought I was done with those videos was because I figured whatever shirts I'd get after the last episode, I'd probably be showing off in my videos. But with my new outro pretty much prohibiting me from having any post-outro footage, and given the fact that I ended up going to a shit ton of concerts since making the 4 episodes of Shades shirt collection last year, I decided I might as well revive the series. And I think what I'm going to do is make this a yearly thing, or something I do twice a year. It only makes sense, given the frequency of concerts I'll probably be going to in the future. And if you're interested in my concert activity and my concert repertoire, I have a note on my fan page that I update regularly that I'll have linked in the description for you to check out. So without further ado, here's episode 5 of Shades shirt collection. So I'm going to do this in chronological order of when I got these shirts. And we're going to start with a concert that I went to around the beginning of September in 2015 while I was still at college. And I've worn this shirt in quite a number of videos since then, and this would be my new Bayside shirt. I got this when I saw them in September, like I said. I drove out to New Haven to catch this show because the only show that they were doing in New York was in Rochester, and Rochester is a bit out of my reach. But, you know, I really wanted to see Bayside. You know, I'd seen them once before in April 2014, but, you know, since they're one of my favorite bands ever, I, of course, you know, wanted to see them again. So I made a trip out, had an awesome time. Opening for them, I missed like half of the first band set. The band was called The Better Off. And the second band I ended up becoming a fan of, and they are an emo alternative rock band called The Early November. They're really good, and they put out a really good album out last year, and this coming year they are doing a 10-year anniversary tour for their triple album, The Mother, the Mechanic, and the Path, which I'm not sure if I'm going to go to. I might, don't know, but nonetheless, this Bayside show was fucking awesome. I was so worn out after. This was the design I liked the best. It has their bird logo. It has the font that their name is usually printed in, and we also have some skeleton hands. Unfortunately, this isn't a tour shirt, but I still really like the shirt, and yeah. This next shirt I got at the beginning of October, around the time before I turned 22. This was a band that I had gotten into thanks to my friend Justin earlier in 2015, and the band is called One OK Rock. They are a post-hardcore band from Japan that at the time had just secured a really good record deal with Warner, and thus they got a lot of exposure in the US. They were playing at my favorite venue in New York, the PlayStation Theater, formerly known as the Best Buy Theater, and I had no idea that they could even play there, or that the show was even going to sell out, because it did sell out. I didn't think that they were that big in America. I thought they were bigger in Japan than they were here, but I was surprised. And it wasn't just an all-Asian audience either. There were, you know, white people there too. That was very surprising. I went to this show with Justin and his girlfriend. They mainly played from their most recent album, 3535, which was sung in all English. On their other albums, they sing mostly in Japanese, occasionally in English, but nowadays, since their American market has expanded, I'm sure they're going to be doing mainly English singing. But their other albums, musically, they're really top-notch. It's really top-notch post-hardcore, pop-punk stuff. And this was the design I liked best. We see 3535 being printed out with the Roman numerals XXXV, and the font I also like. And unfortunately, this isn't a tour shirt either, but yeah, not bad colors. This next shirt is from a band that I saw about a month later in November, and this would be Skid Row. Let me straighten this out. This was the only shirt that I had to the option to choose from, which, you know, it's okay. You know, we see their classic logo, we see, you know, the American flag and all that, or at least, you know, the stripes of the American flag and all that, because, you know, they are American and all that. Normally I wouldn't have gone out of my way to see a band like Skid Row, considering their original singer Sebastian Bach has not been in the band for many years, but I decided to go to this because they had on vocals Tony Harnell of TNT, who is an awesome singer, and TNT is also an awesome fucking band. So I decided, you know, hey, I like this singer, Skid Row are a genuinely good band, I'm gonna go to this because, you know, I'm probably not going to be seeing Skid Row at any other time otherwise. And what I found kind of weird was that about a month later, before the year ended, they kicked Tony Harnell out, and now they have ZP Third, the original singer of Dragon Force, with them now, which is pretty cool, I guess. I've never watched any videos of him singing with them, but I'm sure he sounds, you know, cool with them. Now I'll show you the back. Alright. Rebels we are, fight we will, our lives, our freedom, we are the United World Rebellion, U.S. Sector. In other words, we are the youth gone wild, just like their song goes. Unfortunately, I wish they had tour dates on the back, but, you know, what can you do? I did not care at all for the opening acts on here. There were 3 of them, and I thought that they were just really boring, honestly. Like, they didn't really offer anything really all that unique, nothing that would make me want to check them out. You know, they put on okay sets, but I just wasn't really all that interested in them. And really, I think it was because at that point I sort of realized, yeah, I think I'm sort of done with hard rock. You know, my taste has kind of shifted. I still like it, obviously, but I'm not as into it as I once was. And this was sort of where I realized it. But Skid Row, they put on a very, very good set. They played a lot of material from their first 2 albums because, you know, that's what people are mainly familiar with. And I think at this point it was around the 25-year anniversary, just about, of Slave to the Grind. So yeah, good show. Had a pretty nice time over here. Let's move on. This next shirt was a gift that I got from Justin. He was cleaning out his closet, getting rid of some clothes, and he asked me to come by to see if there was anything I want, and the one thing that I really liked that he was, you know, giving away was this. This Coheed and Cambria shirt that looks really vintage and all that. That's the thing that I really like. It's a pretty not bad design. It looks like it's, you know, been around, and it's a pretty cool shirt. I don't wear it as often because I have a different Coheed and Cambria shirt that I will show you later, but this is still a pretty nice shirt. On the back it just has one of their logo pieces right around here, and that's really it. Up next, this is the first show that I went to in 2016, and this would be Bullet for My Valentine. They are probably my favorite metalcore band, or melodic metalcore band, pretty much in that genre. I love them. They put out some very good albums. I really liked Venom. That was probably my favorite album of 2015. So we see the Venom logo with the snake and the V and all that. The V also being a Roman numeral 5, since this is their 5th album. I liked this design. The other designs that I remember seeing over there, they were just a bit edgy for my taste, and I don't usually get, you know, edgy designs for my shirts anymore. This was the most casual that I find, but it's still a pretty not bad shirt, and, you know, I don't get to wear white as often. So now we get to the back, and we see that, you know, we have February up here and March over here, and I saw them in New York at the PlayStation Theater, my favorite venue there, like I said, and the show was really awesome. Opening for them, I missed the first band while she slept, and the second band, unfortunately, was Askin Alexandria, a band I do not care for, a band that I intentionally skipped like about 4/5 of their set. Like, I caught the end of their set because I didn't really have much better to do, and my phone was kind of running out. I didn't really have much else to do, so I saw the end of their set, where they played that song that goes like, "Oh my God," which was pretty much the only thing I really recognized of theirs. And then Bullet came on and put on an awesome fucking set. Really awesome. I had an awesome time. Next, we got a show that I went to in March, like the beginning of March, right before my spring break. And we talked about this band previously in here, and it's Coheed and Cambria. This shirt, it looks really vintage, just like the other one, and that's why I like this shirt. It's also, got some pretty bright colors, and, bright colors are kind of a thing with me. We have the cover for their most recent album, The Color Before the Sun, which has some pretty weird designs, chairs flying, this house that's just missing a side, and all that. And the design kind of continues on the back here, where we see other, flying chairs around here. And apparently they had 2 shows, 2 days in a row at House of Blues, but that's not where I saw them. I saw them in New York, the theater at Madison Square Garden, which is basically this upstairs venue at Madison Square Garden. It was my first time going there. March 4th was the date. It was my first time going to Madison Square Garden, and it was pretty cool. I really liked, most of the openers they had. One of them ended up becoming one of my favorite new bands, and they are I the Mighty. And the other openers that they had, Glassjaw was the main opener. They were okay, not as good as I the Mighty though, and the first opener was Silver Snakes, a band that didn't really wow me at all. I the Mighty, of course, was awesome, and Coheed, of course, was great. Played a lot of, material. There's some material I wish they played, but other than that, they put on a really good show, and this was fun. And I also went to this show with Justin and his girlfriend, again, since, Coheed and Cambria is basically his favorite band and all that, so of course we're going to go to this together. Next, we have a shirt I got at a concert that I went to at the end of March. This was my 4th time seeing this artist, and it's none other than Joe Satriani. He's one of those artists that, I can't not see whenever he's on tour. Even if he plays the exact same set, he's still someone that, I just need to see. I just have to. He's my favorite artist ever, my favorite guitarist and all that. He always has some pretty cool designs over here. This tour being called the Surfing to Shockwave Tour, since this was just about the 30-year anniversary of his first album. It wasn't Surfing with the Alien, that was his second album, but his first album from 1986, Not of This Earth. It's the 30-year anniversary of that. And here is the back. The Surfing to Shockwave Tour 2016. I saw them in Port Chester, New York at the Capitol Theater, which is like about 10 minutes away from where I went to school. So I invited my uncle to come down since, me and him have a mutual love for Satriani. So he came down, we went to the show, it was great. Had a really nice time, and, looking forward to the next time I see Satriani whenever he puts out a new album, which might be within the next, I'm guessing, 2 years, maybe 1, I'm not sure. So yeah. These next shirts I did not get at concerts. I was, out at the mall one day, figured I'd hit up Hot Topic since, I sometimes like to go in there, see if they have any interesting shirts, of bands I like. Sometimes they do. Most of the time, not really. But this time I was pleasantly surprised, because this is another one of my favorite newer bands that caught my attention. I wish they had a better shirt of this band, but I'll probably be getting one next time I see this band live, and this would be State Champs. I love this band so much. They're my favorite of the new generation pop-punk scene. Them, Knuckle Puck, Real Friends, Neck Deep, and Wonder Years, State Champs is my favorite out of, those new pop-punk bands that have been coming out within the last decade or so. They're great, have a great sound. Their album, Around the World and Back, was one of my favorites of last year, and that's basically what we see with the circular globe thing. That's the logo from that. It's not a bad design, I just wish they had better ones, and there's nothing on the back, so let's move on. Next we have another one of my favorite bands ever, and my second favorite band of the 90s decade after Rage Against the Machine, and they would of course be Alice in Chains. This caught my attention at Hot Topic as well. They had another design with the cover of Dirt on there that I also thought looked kind of cool, but they didn't have one in my size, so I asked if they had one, and I ended up, liking this design too, even if it doesn't really feature, Dirt or Facelift on the cover, because, I like dogs, and it's a pretty simplistic design, looks pretty vintage, and yeah. Next we have a shirt of a band that, I just wanted to have in my shirt collection. I really wanted to see this band live when they were on tour because they were on their farewell tour, but unfortunately I was on vacation at that time when they were coming to Massachusetts, so I had to miss out on that, and this band would be Black Sabbath. It says it's a tour from 1973, which was the year that they came out with Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, even though the font reminds me more of the Volume 4 album than it does Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, but, still a pretty okay looking design. Hopefully, if Black Sabbath are officially done, hopefully I can see Ozzy solo. That would be just as good because, I like Ozzy's solo material. He has Gus G playing on guitar, and Gus G is a great guitarist. So hopefully I can see him solo at some point, because I'm sure that would be a hell of fun. So let's move on. This is the last of the shirts that I got at that Hot Topic that day. I've never worn this shirt once, and part of the reason is because I'm not too big on the design. This would be Beartooth. We see the wolf that's on the cover of their album from this year, Aggressive. It's a good album. Beartooth is a very good band. I like what they have to offer. Their brand of hardcore, metalcore, that kind of music, I like what they have to do, much more than fucking Attack. I didn't really care for Attack that much. Of Mice and Men and Beartooth, I just think blow them out of the water. But, I figured, hey, I like Beartooth, let's get this shirt. I'm probably going to get a different shirt of them if I see them live, which I might whenever that happens, so yeah. And these last few shirts that I'm going to go over in here, I got when I went to my very first Warped Tour. I made a drive out to Long Island to meet up with a friend of mine who we both have a mutual love of pop punk, and I got this shirt on my way out. It's an unofficial shirt for Warped Tour 2016, and my thing with unofficial shirts, they end up having some really cool designs that they don't offer inside the venue. But I figured, yeah, it's going to have all the bands listed on the back, and I'm going to go over which ones that I saw, because it has all of them printed on the back over here. And you probably won't be able to read everything from here, so I will go over them. And what I think of the bands, if I've heard of them, and if I saw them, if they were even playing at here, because some of the bands on here weren't even playing at this particular date. So 303, I don't like them. They were not even playing at the date. Against the Current, I've never heard of them. I've never heard of American Authors either. Ballyhoo, I recognize the name. I just need to look into them. Assuming We Survive, never heard of them. Atreyu, I don't think were playing at the date I went to, unfortunately. It's a shame, because I think Atreyu's okay. Avian Row, I've never heard of them. Never heard of Bad Seed Rising. Beebs featuring Belay, I don't know what that is. Broadside, I am a fan of. A pretty casual fan. They were playing at the date, but I missed them because I was probably seeing something else. Bullet for My Valentine, I wish were playing at my date. They were only playing like maybe 1 or 2 dates on the entire tour, but they were not playing when I was over there. Cane Hill, I've never heard of. Capsize, I got into pretty recently. They're a pretty good band. I like what they have to offer. Chelsea Grin, I don't really care for them all that much. I'm not sure if they were playing at the date that I saw. Chunk No Captain Chunk, I also got into pretty recently, even though their name is kind of dumb. We unfortunately missed them. I think they were on earlier. I was just waiting for my friend to get here. Cold Rain, I've never heard of them. Crown the Empire, I recognize the name. I don't think I saw them. I've never heard of Cruel Hand. Dash Line 10, never heard of them. Emarosa, they were playing. I didn't see them, mainly because I don't really care for their most recent stuff. I only really like their first 2 albums that they had back when they had Johnny Craig on vocals. Every Time I Die, I didn't see them, but, you know, I do like them. Falling in Reverse, we skipped their set because neither of us like them. First to 11, never heard of them. 4 Year Strong was another band we unfortunately missed because they were on earlier in the day and I was waiting for my friend to get there. From Ashes to New, I forget if they were playing when we were over there, but I also got into them kind of recently. Ghost Town, never heard of them. Gideon, I also got into recently, forget if they were playing there. Good Charlotte, I don't think was playing at the day that I saw them. I'm not really that big into them, so it doesn't really make a difference to me. Hail the Sun, never heard of them. Icy Stars, I saw. My friend left, but I caught Icy Stars set. Icy Stars are actually pretty awesome. Ice Nine Kills, I wanted to see them, but I missed their set because someone else was playing. I forget which. In Heart's Wake, I don't know. Issues we saw, they were awesome. Knuckle Puck we saw, they were awesome. Less Than Jake, they were the closing act, sort of an encore act. I caught them, they were pretty cool. Like Pacific, I actually saw pretty recently. We'll get to that later. I wasn't into them at the time. I got into them recently. I've never heard of Marina City. Masked Intruder, I saw Masked Intruder last summer, 2 summers ago actually, in 2015, when I went to the Fat Wreck for 25 Years tour that I got my Strung Out shirt at. Masked Intruder was great there, but we unfortunately had to miss their set this year because someone else was playing. It bummed my friend out too because he had just gotten into them. But yeah, hopefully there can be a time in the future where we can catch them. Mayday Parade we saw, they're pretty good. More to Monroe, never heard of them. Never heard of Mother Feather. Motionless in White, we skipped their set, even though I think they're okay. Neck Deep were not playing when we saw them, when we saw Warped, which kind of sucks because they're awesome. Newfound Glory we saw, they were not bad. Never heard of Night Argent. I've heard Ocean's 8 Alaska before. I haven't really given them a listen. Never heard of Old Wounds. Never heard of Palais Royale. Never heard of Pepper. Never heard of Prof. Paris, I don't know if they were playing when we were over there, but they're pretty good. Real Friends we saw, they were awesome. Reckless Serenade, I've never heard of them. Real Big Fish, we missed them, I think because Knuckle Puck was playing at that time. Sucks because Real Big Fish are a band that I would really love to see sometime. I've never heard of Rome, or Safe to Say, or Say We Can Fly, which is all one word. Never heard of Secrets. Set It Off, I got into them earlier this year, but we missed their set. Set Your Goals, I saw recently this year, but I don't think they were playing when we were over there. Never heard of Silent Planet. Sleeping with Sirens, we skipped their set, because I'm not really into Sleeping with Sirens. State Champs, of course we saw. They were the highlight of the day. I would have gotten a shirt over there, but I didn't really like the designs that they had over there, but State Champs is amazing. Sum 41 we saw. Even if you're not even a big fan of pop punk, Sum 41, you can't deny, they're fucking legendary. Sykes, I've never heard of. Teenage Bottle Rocket, I didn't see their set. They're pretty good. The Ballroom Charades, I've never heard of them. Never heard of the Color Morale, or the Airs, or the Interrupted, or the Main, or the New Low, or the Pink Slips. The Story So Far, I saw their set. My friend left at that point. They were pretty awesome. The Summer Set I've never heard of. The Word Alive I know of. I don't think I've listened to them before. Tonight Alive, we saw their set. They were pretty good. Too Close to Touch, I've never heard of them. I've never heard of Tsunami Bomb. Vanna, I know the name because they're from Massachusetts. I didn't see their set. I'm not sure if they were playing when we were over there. Veil of Maya, I missed their set, unfortunately. Volumes, I missed their set, unfortunately. Never heard of Wage War. Waka Flocka Flame apparently was on there, but I don't think he was there when we were there. Water Parks I've never heard of. We the Kings we saw. They were one of the first bands we saw that day. They were not bad. Whitechapel, they were also earlier in the day, and I missed them because my friend was late. With Confidence I've never heard of. Yellow Card we saw, and unfortunately they're a band that is calling it quits this coming year. or this year, I forget. It's unfortunate. Yellow Card's awesome. And Young Guns, I saw. They were okay. I had also seen Young Guns open for Breaking Benjamin when I saw them in 2015. So, that is all for this shirt. Now, as far as actual band shirts that I got at Warped, I only got 3 of them because, you know, most of the designs were kinda either cartoony or edgy, and there weren't really a whole lot of simplistic ones, but this one is as simplistic as it gets, and it's my favorite shirt that I picked up there, and this would be Real Friends. Real Friends is another one of my favorite of the new generation pop punk bands. I like this design because it looks simplistic. It looks like it actually was made at, like, you know, a local show, the kind of shirt that, you know, local bands tend to make when they're just starting out. It looks like it was actually from, you know, a far off time period. It looks like it was just made poorly with paint and all that, and the name written in cursive. None of these are tour shirts, unfortunately. I did also see Real Friends earlier this year, which we'll talk about later on. So, moving on. The next shirt I got at Warped is my Knuckle Puck shirt, or as Jared Alonji refers to them as, the Knuckle Puck shirt. Not a bad design. I wish they had a bit more of an edge to it. This one looks a bit plain, that's why I don't wear it as often. This is kind of their logo with the pine tree, which is why it says, you know, forever strong as a pine tree, always an evergreen. Not bad, I guess. Knuckle Puck is another great band. Awesome fucking modern pop punk band. So yeah. And the final shirt we're going to go over for now, I'm going to create another episode after I'm done filming this. The last shirt I got at Warped is my Issues shirt. This design is kind of simplistic. It features, you know, their logo written in these weird symbols, all that. Los Angeles, Atlanta, USA, Worldwide. That's basically where the members are from. Hooligans International. Not bad. I used to wear this shirt a good bit when I got it. I don't wear it as much anymore. But yeah, this is a pretty cool shirt. They also had one that, you know, had Pokemon font over there because, you know, they opened with a cover of the Pokemon theme, which was really cool. But, you know, it didn't really interest me as much because, you know, if I wanted to get a shirt with Pokemon font, I would have just got a Pokemon shirt. But, you know, I'm not that into Pokemon, so who cares? So I settled with this. Issues is truly a unique band. If you've never listened to them, do give them a listen. They basically combine nu metal, metalcore, post-hardcore, progressive metal, gent, and some pop elements. Like, you know, I can't think of a single band other than Issues that combines all those styles and has this kind of a stylistic background and all that. And that's why I think Issues is so great, and that people definitely need to check them out if you've never done so. They're awesome. And thus ends episode 5 of Shades Shirt Collection. Hope you enjoyed this. See you in episode 6 coming up next. I'm Shades, and I'll see you then.